Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 6, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. The first sloka. Sarva-bhūta-sthitaṁ yo maṁ bhajaty ekatvam āsthitaḥ sarvatā vartamānopi sa yogī mayi vartate. Yah, the yogi who, ekatvam sthitah, immersed in the similarity between him and me, that is Krishna, sarva-bhūta-sthitaṁ, dwelling everywhere, maṁ bhajaty, through experiencing him, experiences me, sa yogi, that yogi, sarvathā, out of yoga, in external activities, vartamāno api, even while engaged, mayi vartate, is experiencing me. Translation: such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. Here, the level has increased from the previous one. Before he saw similarity between a Supreme Lord and himself. Now, even after that yoga stage, when he is engaged outside of yoga stage, he is still in full Krishna consciousness. In this stage, his knowledge has expanded in such a way it doesn't have any limitation, which is equal to the knowledge of the Supreme Lord, which also uncontracted knowledge, which spreads out everywhere. This is the next advanced stage than the previous stage. So having attained this stage, even when he has come out of yoga, he views only the similarity to the Supreme Lord in the self of all beings. It is important to note at this stage, this yogi, this individual Atma, comes to a point where he cannot be separated from the Supreme Lord, because he sees himself and the Supreme Lord as same in that sense. Let's be careful when we say the Supreme Lord and Jivatma same. It's by qualities only, not that they become one. Another important point from this sloka is sarvathā vartamāno api. This means even when he has come out of yoga stage and when he is engaged in other activities, normal material activities, he is still in that consciousness. Sarvathā vartamāno api does not mean he can live however he wants. He can do any sort of sinful activity. That's not the meaning of it. What it means is, even when he is out of yoga period, he is still in that same consciousness. Let's see the last sloka of this section. ātmaupamyena sarvatra samaṁ paśyati Arjuna sukhaṁ va yadi va duḥkhaṁ sa yogī paramo mataḥ. Atma, with his self, ātmaupamyena, by comparison, sarvatra, everywhere, samaṁ, equally, paśyati, sees, yah, he who, Arjuna, O Arjuna, sukhaṁ, happiness, va, or, yadi, if, va, or, duḥkhaṁ, distress, saha, such yogi, a transcendentalist, paramo, perfect, mataḥ, is considered. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. This verse speaks of the fully matured stage. He who has attained the stage of yoga is praised as the highest. Here, this sloka can be understood by example. Say, a birth of a child to another person, to a neighbor or someone else, does not give much pleasure to me. Also, death of someone, a son of someone or whoever it may be, does not give me sorrow. In the same fashion, if the birth of a child to me should not give pleasure, and the death of someone to me should not give sorrow, that is called the highest stage. Let's understand little more in detail about this example we just saw. We are able to view both the birth and death in others' case without passion. Why? Because of lack of connection between the other person and myself. That child who was born is to that person. That child who got lost is to that person. Therefore, that is not going to affect me because I don't have any connection to that person or to that child. Krishna says, similarly, apply the same concept to yourself. When a birth happens in your family, don't become joyful. When death happens in your family, don't become depressed. Well, that doesn't seem that easy. Let's again revisit. The Atma and body are different. For my neighbor, likewise, my body and Atma is different. My neighbor doesn't have any connection to my body. Likewise, I don't have any connection to my neighbor's body. When I don't have connection to my neighbor's body, likewise, I don't have connection to my own body. Therefore, irrespective of whether it's a good event or a bad event that happens to my neighbor or to me, I shouldn't be affected because I'm not this body. I'm Atma. Everything that's happening is all to the body, not to Atma. Therefore, one becoming overly excited when some good things happen, or one becoming completely sorrowful when something bad happens, is not a sign of yogi. And when a person who is not affected by any of these material standards of good and bad, and that is considered to be the highest stage. To summarize what we have seen in this 4th sloka, in the 29th sloka, we saw the Supreme Paramatma is present in everyone. For that, one should understand that Atma are all equal with the qualities of Jnana and Ananda. Therefore, there is no differences between any Atmas. They are all same and equal. What made difference was the Shariram. And in the next sloka, we saw Atma and Paramatma are equal, not one, they are equal by especially those 8 qualities that we discussed. And in the 31st sloka, the 3rd stage, where the Jivatma's knowledge is not restricted like that of the Supreme Lord. In this stage, he understands he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, he is servant of the Supreme Lord. And likewise, all the Atmas are also the same. And finally, in the 32nd sloka, this person who has this direct knowledge sees the pleasure of others and sorrow of others as his, meaning not that he takes their pleasure and sorrows, rather how he is not affected by others' pleasure and sorrows. Similarly, when it happens to him, he is not affected either. That's the 32nd sloka. So by these 4 slokas, we have seen 4 different stages of equality. Number 1, Atmas are all equal. Number 2, Paramatma and Jivatma are also equal by their 8 qualities. And number 3, Paramatma and Jivatma are equal by the knowledge. And number 4, seeing equality in pain and pleasure, happiness and sorrow. Namaste. Hare Krishna.